Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon in December. I'm so happy to have everyone here willing to take a break with me. As you see here, my name is Cassandra Francis. I am the founder as well as a clinic director and one of the psychotherapists at One Piece Therapy. And I'm also a trauma informed yoga practitioner as well. I typically don't advertise it, but I do like to incorporate it in my sessions with clients as well, and have heard great feedback. So I think it's a great opportunity in the midst of the holiday season or the end of the year, just the busyness of December, that we all take a break together and breathe in and breathe out. Okay. So those that are joining us live, please feel free to use the chat. I probably might ask a couple of questions to check where everyone is at. So feel free to use the chat. For those watching the recorded version, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to use the comment section. If everyone especially is feeling good and feeling what needs to be felt during this break, please let us know and we'll be happy to schedule more in this first time. So it is a full agenda. I know it's 30 minutes intended for this webinar, but there's a lot to cover. There's a lot of space to give as we're breathing. So I think it's important as I'm talking to get what you need. Okay, so whether it's a music of your choice, which actually I have I have found two meditation sounds. Depending on your preference, I have included white noise as well as meditation music. So please check the chat if you would like music. I typically don't like to have it just because as I'm guiding, because it might be that the audio might cut out. But if that's your thing, there's some options in the chat. I'll put the options in the comment section for those watching the recorded version. But if you prefer silence and just a voice guiding you, then absolutely, please feel free. So yes, situate the music situation, even as I'm talking. You can have a yoga mat, your bed, couch, floor. Ultimately, just have yourself in a private and undisturbed space. So we will be talking a bit about the importance of mindfulness breathing, just so there is that understanding, so that hopefully you take this practice and you include that in your day-to-day or your weekly or monthly self-care. And then there's the moment to find your comfort zone after consuming some information. And here are the breathing exercises that we'll be doing. So starting with the grounding technique called seated mountain form. And then the therapeutic technique, which I often use in my sessions, it's called 6, 7, 8. And then 2 different chair yoga positions, starting with the seated forward fold. And then I will end in a seated cat-cow form. And between each of these exercises, I will be taking a minute or 2 break, just in case anyone needs to reset or stretch, or even if you have your journal next to you or a notepad and you want to note any feelings, sensations, thoughts that are coming up for you. So I will be, taking pause between time. Okay. So I'm going to keep this short. I do want to focus on breathing, especially as you're taking a break. I'm sure consuming information on break time is, not everyone's favorite thing, but ultimately when it comes to mindfulness breathing, when it comes to techniques in general, it's important to also know why to do it, as that can help it stick, right? But in general, this experience will be much more experiential. But to summarize why mindfulness breathing is so important, is It helps increase your body and self-awareness and acceptance. You develop a sense of safety in the body, especially let me say actually, the word development it needs to be highlighted because it is a process. It's not guaranteed that today is the only time that it will be sufficient for you to feel safe in your body, especially if you're not used to that feeling, right? So it is a process of development to continue to do. It increases self-regulation. It's a stress reduction. It helps improve sleep. It's also a positive method for coping with negative emotions, symptoms of depression, and symptoms of anxiety. And it also helps balance the endocrine and nervous system. So a little bit of a biology lesson. So the endocrine system is responsible for regulating a range of bodily functions through the release of hormones. So it's in charge of creating and releasing hormones to maintain our functioning. Some of the endocrine tissues include the pituitary gland, thyroid, pancreas, and much more. And the hormones it includes is insulin, estrogen, testosterone, adrenaline. So it really does take up a large part of our body, right? Like it's a really important and significant system. The nervous system is a network of neurons, which its function is to generate, modulate, and transmit information between all parts of the human body. Right? So it's vital. It's vital to our functioning. It includes our heartbeat, our breathing, our digestion, our sensations, body movements. Essentially, the nervous system tells our body what to do. Right. So both of these systems, it's so crucial to have them balanced in order to function in an optimal way. And then the eighth point they have is the opportunity to practice presence. Most often in our busyness, in our work schedule, we are doing various things in our days. So most often than not, we're not present. We're not paying attention to our breath. We're just breathing, right? However, it is so important to pay attention to our breath for the reasons stated. But again, this list, and maybe not again, I'm not sure if I had the disclaimer, but this is not an exhaustive list. Like there's so much more benefits to mindfully breathing. However, this is just some that I would hope, depending on where you are at in your day as you join this webinar, that one, if not a couple of these benefits will be received for you. So now that we know why it's so important, I encourage everyone to just find a comfortable space as we do begin to get into the mindfully breathing part. Okay. I do want to give a disclaimer as well that the images you see are not examples or models of what you need to look like. Okay, so you can be upright. Again, most of these exercises are going to be catered to you being upright, but you can also lay down. You can also just get back in your chair. Find your comfort zone. Don't pay attention to the images, just pay attention to my words. Okay, so the reason I want to start with grounding is because it's so important to be accepting of your physical reality. So once we're able to accept or be in the process of accepting our physical reality, it also helps us take and accept the responsibility for our experiences, right? We innately have the ability to impact our emotional, mental, and physical self-regulation, and this can occur through grounding. So now that we have our music, hopefully everyone has found their comfort zone. I'm going to start with the seated mountain form. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position in your chair, whatever that is for you today. You're welcome to use the support of the backrest, or if you prefer, you could come a little closer to the edge of the seat to find a more upright quality in your spine. If you'd like, position your feet about hip width apart with your knees above your ankles. Feel free to rest your hands wherever you'd like. Could be on your legs or on your lap, and your eyes can be closed or opened. Always your choice. In your own time, bring your awareness to your feet, resting flat on the floor. If it's useful, you could even bring a little movement to your feet in order to sense it in contact with the floor. Pressing down through each foot or moving your feet some way or another before bringing them to rest. If you'd like, drawing your awareness to the center of your body, wherever that is for you. As an option, you could even try shifting your weight from side to side, or even making some circular movements here, eventually finding your way back towards center. Perhaps now shifting your attention up to the top of your head. And if you'd like, you could try lengthening up a little through the top of your head. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes if they were closed and notice how you feel. So before we move on, I encourage you to take 1 or 2 minutes to again notice how you feel, jot down anything, acknowledge anything, and we will continue to the next exercise. Okay, so now we're going to focus more on our breath. Naturally, when we are focusing on our breath, this gives space to allow us to adapt to change. So for some people, belly breathing is a useful way to reduce stress and anxiety, to cultivate mindfulness, and to increase a sense of well-being. We will be taking long breaths. So if you are uncomfortable, feel free to adjust the count at any point. But I do suggest breathing back instead of breathing up, as that gives more space for just that enhancement, right? That but fullness of breath. Sometimes if it's challenging for you to distinguish between breathing back and breathing up, laying down can help as well with just increasing that depth. But please, again, if you were out of your comfort zone for that, pause, find your comfort zone again, and we'll be doing 6, 7, 8. So how I like to do this, and I do it with clients at the end of each session typically, is we start with, again, grounding, so you can feel back into yourself, and then I will guide the counting. So for 6, 7, 8, it's where you inhale through your nose for 6 counts, you hold your breath for 7 counts, and then you release slowly through your mouth for 8 counts. We're going to do this 5 times, and I will guide each of the 5 times. So let's begin. Finding a comfortable position, whether you are remaining upright or you're laying down, kick back. And your eyes can be closed or opened, whichever makes you feel comfortable. And if your eyes are open, just have them gaze on a blank space, like the wall, ceiling, or the floor. And just continue to take your regular breath here. And as you are grounding, if you feel your mind becoming distracted at any point, just gently guide it back to your breathing, focusing on the inhale and exhale. Again, to engage a deeper sense of breathing as well, I encourage you to place one or both of your hands on your lower abdomen, just noticing with every inhale, your belly expands, your hands move out. And with every exhale, your belly contracts, hands move closer, even if ever so slightly. And we're going to take a few more breaths before we begin to count. And now we're going to inhale for 6 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release slowly for 8. And again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release slowly for 8. And again, inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release slowly through your mouth for 8. Two more. Inhale for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And release for 8. And one more time. Inhale for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release for 8. And when you are ready, I encourage you to just take a moment, maybe blink a few times if your eyes were closed. Just notice how you feel. Okay, I am curious how everyone is feeling at this point. Please feel free to use the chat or the comment section, depending on how you're following. But now we are going to enter in our third exercise, 3 out of 4 for today. And this one is called seated forward fold. So these are the next two will be trauma sensitive chair yoga forms. You can do it while seated, of course, seated by choice, or if you're in a wheelchair, or if you're in uncomfortable clothing. But essentially, why I'd like to bring in yoga into today's practice is because it generally encourages us to remain present, to notice and tolerate your inner experience, and develop a new relationship with your body. Again, this is development, this is processing. So you might not, most likely won't need just today, but this is something to include going forward. So the forward fold is a relaxation response, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, part of our nervous system. Again, find your comfort spot, be in your comfort zone, and I will begin. So I invite you to separate your feet a comfortable distance apart, perhaps just a little wider than your hips. One option might be to bring your palms or elbows to rest on your knees and explore folding forward. Another option, if you'd prefer, might be to come all the way forward, perhaps resting your hands on the floor. You're welcome to check out whichever option is best for you today. Just continue taking your breaths as you are in this position. Just reminding yourself to breathe into areas where there's more tension. Releasing areas where it might feel more tight, or breathing into them, whatever you need today. And when you are ready, inhale and slowly roll your body up to a comfortable seated position. And notice how you feel. Just taking another moment to feel your body, connect with your body, note what is needed. And we'll begin our last exercise of today shortly. So now, again, the pictures have nothing to do with what this is supposed to look like. But now I would like to end on a way of more activating us so we can prepare to get back into our day with this seated cat-cow form. So this position alone has various benefits. It helps strengthen and stretch it and stretches the spine and the neck, the hips, the abdomen. It can, it stimulates the kidneys, the adrenaline glands. It relieves stress, calms the mind. It helps balance the parasympathetic nervous system as well as the sympathetic nervous system, and ultimately helps lubricate the spine. So I think this is a good flow to experience. And the cat-cow position is like this and like this. Okay. For those that can't see at this time, I will, of course, be actually using my words to help guide, but I also wanted to demonstrate in case the photo is throwing anyone off. Okay, so again, just find your seated position, and I will begin the seated cat-cow form shortly. When it feels right for you, find a comfortable seated position with your hands resting on your knees. In your own time, with your exhales, round your spine, drawing your navel back and rounding your shoulders, releasing the weight of your head forward. When you're ready, on your inhales, lifting and lengthening your spine, lifting your chest and tilting your chin up. If you'd like, continue at your own pace for a few cycles, feeling welcome to rest anytime or pause anywhere along the way if it feels useful. I will give everyone a minute to feel your movement. as much time as you need within that minute. And then reflect on how you feel. And that is it. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today, whether you are live, whether you're watching the recorded version. I hope you feel grounded, relaxed, activated, and balanced. If not all, at least once. At least one, sorry. I hope you feel that this was truly useful for you, and I appreciate you sharing your break with me. Here's our information if you would like to continue with this practice. Would be happy to just be there for you and support you through your journey, or one of our other practitioners as well. But here's our information. Feel free to follow us on social media platforms. Across the board, it is One Piece Therapy. Thank you again for joining, and have a lovely rest of your day, everyone. Bye.